Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. We've reached the semi-final stage of the Fall Invitational. I got two of the best players on FAF. Two of the best players in FAF history as well. We got Petric here, top player since 2013. Since before I even knew this place existed, basically. I believe he's been, top since around 2013. Around the top of the game, we have Nexus here. Many fewer years under his belt in FAF, but at this point he's been around a long time. And yeah, they've both chosen Seraphim on this map. The map is Crag Dunes. So this is a really classic map. I'm wondering who chose this. I would guess this would be a choice by Petric. Just have a feeling that he would certainly have a lot more games under his belt on this map, given what the previous ladder systems used to look like. Maps like this would show up a lot. So over here we have a lot of wreckages. I think these might be flak or something. But then we also have 3 Ilshval wrecks here. There's some T2 wreck here. These are maybe pillars spread around. And then we have a lot of reclaim in the middle. So this is going to be the main thing that both these guys need to fight for on this map. Who will get more of the middle reclaim? You can see if we zoom out, we get close to 10k mass. Probably over that because some of the mass has been taken already. So we're going to see a lot of factories, fast scaling up of production. And a lot of action with the commanders. It's going to be a big factor. How those commanders are used. Looks like Nexus already has 2 factories up. One of them is an air factory and he's going straight for a bomber. He has only 6 power generators. And actually he's cancelling this construction of his factory as he does not have the necessary power. He thought he could save on pigeons by delaying mass extractors. But it hasn't worked out perfectly for him. It's worked out pretty well though. He did stall a bit. He did slow down his bomber. But not too bad overall. Petric only now building his air factory. Is also going second air. But he's making a lot of power at the same time. And has a lot of resources in the bank. So we shall see what happens. Early tank and an early engineer to middle. Trying to take this reclaim here where there's some T2 Rex and some T1, and then over here where we have a lot of T2 Rex and some administration buildings or something, civilian buildings. Petric really front loading his power production so he can get a bomber out, and then he's going to build a lot of factories with no power other than the hydrocarbon added, I would guess. This is going to be as many T1 pigeons as he has for the majority of the game if he... Well, that's his intention anyway, I would say. I think he will achieve that. Here comes a bomber. And what's it bombing? Oh, it's bombing the air factory. He instantly kills the bomber that was under production. That's a really nice move, actually. No need for an inti when you just bomb the bomber out of your opponent's factory. Just looking for a drop here. Gets it. Will this engineer dodge? It's going to be close. Ooh, actually hit this engineer. One engineer goes down. 2 anti-airs come out and they will be enough to kill the bomber for sure. We are at -2. Overall, that was a good bomber. I like that a lot. Killed the bomber from Petric before it even completed. That's a very nice tank raid by by Petric though, and if he continues on and gets this engineer, it would be amazing. It doesn't look like it's happening though. Oh my god, there is a Celine killing Nexus, the engineer, and the engineer survives on 1 HP and is now going to get hundreds of mass and reclaim from the middle. That is a big swing. We have the tank from Nexus arriving at the back, denying the hydrocarbon. Same story as what Petric did. Actually, Petric did find this other engineer that was working on the T2 Rex. Petric also wins air control. And so that's a pretty even opening, I would say. Looking at the damage they both did, Petric obviously completely unsuccessful with his bomber. Doesn't leave the factory floor, but he got more damage in, I think, with land, maybe slightly more damage. See 3 kills on this guy. But yeah, Nexus has just moved in and killed the engineer in middle of his opponent, and Nexus meanwhile still has his engineer in the middle. A lot of anti-air from Nexus in the base now allows him to win air control. Nice bomb, killing that bomber in the middle of the map, and gets another bomb away. Excellent split. That was actually an amazing split by Nexus to save his engineers there. Tank at the back gets stopped in its tracks, and the key difference now is, aside from Nexus leaving loads of units in his base with bad rally points, is Nexus ACU has already moved forward, taken some reclaim. I think he missed the T2 wreck here, which is kind of bad, but he's moved forward and he's running straight to the enemy base. Petric hasn't left the base yet, turns left to present an obstacle to his opponent's commander. But generally it's better to be on the offensive than the defensive, I find. Let's see who has more units now, because I feel like it might be Nexus. We got 24 tanks, 3 artillery. Expect those artillery numbers to go way up. He's got slightly more than Petric, not much at all. Those artillery numbers though are going to grow and grow as this game continues. The Phobos are going to be very, very dangerous. We only got 7 land factories. Looks like 9. Well, we actually have 7 here because 2 of them are still under construction, and Petric can't afford them. He cannot afford them. Still hasn't taken. He's in the business of taking these mexes. The T2 transport wrecks are actually difficult to grab. You see these ones up here? You usually use the commander to take those. But both players have left reclaim on the field that maybe should have been taken already. And they're both sort of struggling for mass a little bit. Well, Nexus is not. Petric was for a time. Looks like some wasted units here for Petric. Not sure where he is trying to send those guys, but those are totally wasted into a PD and a commander. That's a big loss. Units like these you will never get back, and that was a big mistake, actually. Very big mistake. On the other side, looks like Nexus taking some decent fights. Reclaim is building up, but overall it's relatively even. Petric trying to get his own PD up as he kills Nexus's PD as well. Nexus with a little bit more damage from his commander. Petric walking forward. Very few units in support, and a lot of units have come to the side from Nexus, and you can see what I'm talking about with the Phobos. I said their numbers will increase greatly. They can fire over these cliffs and be extremely annoying. They can even fire over the cliff in the middle to the main base. That's why you don't build anything near the cliff here. Petric taking a lot of damage. Look at this, 6,800 HP versus a virtually full HP Seraphim commander against him. Now, he is doing well getting kills, but he does not have the units in support. On the other side, he's lost control. Nexus trying to get some PDs up here. Nexus has killed the middle, there's still reclaim here that he can take after he takes the mass extractors. And both commanders walk into range of each other. This is really risky for Petric, not so much for Nexus, as Nexus just has so much more HP to work with. And now, once again, Nexus is going to get more kills with that commander. The artillery come in and just wipe 3 tanks from the field in the blink of an eye. And Nexus now 4,000 mass ahead. You can see he's even able to hold this max down here, which is usually very hard to hold. 60 tanks. Petric under attack, losing a lot of HP, still has no units to help him out. They're all on the far side of the mountain. I mean, there's Zuis, they're going to do a lot from back here, but not enough, as Petric is down to 1500, 1k HP. He's gonna get a vet though, isn't he? Oh, the overcharge, nice. He does get a vet back up to 1400 HP as he runs out of range of the tanks, but not out of range of the enemy commander. Nexus now needs 1 overcharge to kill, or he'll just shoot him. And that's it. A couple of bombers come in just a bit too late. Maybe if they'd gotten 10 passes, the Nexus would have drawn there, but Nexus takes the win on Crag Dunes. And his opening, the bomber was really nice. You can see obviously Petric put a lot into going secondary, made 9 power generators, and then an air factory. Only had 1 land factory that time. Also made early engineer to middle and an early tank to the back, so his scaling, I guess, slowed down a lot, and he didn't get anything from the bomber as it died in the factory thanks to Nexus bombing it from above. And that was definitely a key factor in the game, probably the main difference. Also, well, Nexus managed to deny a lot of this mid reclaim, while Petric did not do the same for Nexus, at least not until later did he kill the engineer in middle. So very well played, and Nexus takes a 1-0 lead at the start of this best of 5 series. Let's move on to map number 2. Okay, welcome to map number 2 of this best of 5 series. And this time we're on another 5x5 map. We're on Cobalt Valley. Well, it's a 10x10 map, commonly regarded as having 5x5 gameplay because of the mostly unplayable space on the outside of the map. So Petric sits here with the blue color as a Cybran. First land, a Mex, then a Pigeon, then 2 more mass extractors. Haven't seen that particular configuration of a build before. Nexus goes with no T1 Pigeons, goes straight to the Hydro after a factory, and 3 Mexes. Let's look in the build queue here. We see a Mantis coming up after 4 engineers, and for Nexus, same story. Looking similar. Engineer, Mantis Scout, Engineer, Mantis Scout, Engineer, Mantis Engineer, Mantis Engineer, etc. Same story here for Petric, basically. Although, actually, a few more engineers here. You can see a group of 3 engineers at some point. Might be interesting to see how useful those engineers are. Will he get enough from... What will those engineers do? I mean, will he need them for building? Will he need them for expanding? Reclaiming, not so lucrative on this map. after the opening when you've grabbed most of the useful stuff, like back here. Having several engineers reclaiming is, well, not sure if it's worth it here, but yeah, let's see how it goes in the opening. We got 3 factories up. Actually, Nexus faster with the factories, so that's already a point in his favor. Three land factories, half one done. Petric certainly behind there, slightly. Only slightly. Let's see the queue setting to middle. And so is Nexus. So both players doing basically the same thing. But Nexus may be doing it better because he's got a -2 mass balance. That's pretty good. No power overflow, no power in storage basically. He's got 11 mantis as a result, and he's up against 9, so Petric already too much power. He only has 1 more power generator. Nexus bouncing his economy, stops building factories and then assists the land factory he's next to instead. So maybe this extra power generator here was a fundamental error. Did we lose the engineer that was expanding here already? No, those look like mantis. Or do they? No, that's an engineer, isn't it? Big kill, because as you can see on the other side, Nexus has taken this comfortably. He's defended. And Petric's under pressure. He's already going to be behind in his expansion now. And looks to be towards this mix as well. You can see this engineer further from the mass extractor than this one. Bad fight from Petric here. Losing some mantis in bad trades. Nexus on the left side regroups and takes a 4 versus 3. Look how good this fight is going to be for him. Oh, the mantis, they wasted so much DPS turning their turns to kill that guy, but got him in the end. 1 mantis escapes on very low HP, and this looks sickeningly good for Nexus already. As he's raiding this position, he will kill this mass extractor as well. Please don't run. He's not going to run past this engineer, right? Wow, 1 HP. Can you believe it? He sends 1 mantis back. Of course he does. I told you he was not going to run past there. There goes the Engie. Look at this. PD goes up just as Petric's units arrive and they can do nothing. This position was never even constructed. I said this max was going to go down at 14 rounds. Just a fraction too far, but this looks extremely good for Nexus. Let's look at the... He's also been adding a lot of power. You can see pigeons going up. Only now adding another factory. Actually adding 2 factories. He might be going a bit far there. But you can see from Nexus, from Petric's POV, it's rough. Very little vision. Very little hope of taking back this position. He is chasing down these units, but watch how Nexus regroups his mantis. Keeps them really close together. That's the thing, like when I say regroup, it's not just retreating and allowing the reinforcements to come forward. It's like gathering your mantis as quickly as possible into as close a group as possible so they can fight efficiently. It's not just retreating the front ones, you know, but it's getting into a tight group. And you can see now it looks like Nexus is going for the quick kill. Petric pushed forward towards the base of Nexus, probably hoping to get a lot of free kills on reinforcements, but instead he's getting completely overwhelmed. All the units in the map converge on his commander, and so does the enemy commander. And this is a brutal crush by Nexus against Petric on Cobalt Valley. I would never want to face Nexus on Cobalt Valley. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't want to face Petric on Cobalt Valley either. Maybe that's just... it's more to do with me than them, maybe. But extremely impressive from Nexus, and also shows how very thin margins can lead to a 7-minute victory against a player as good as Petric. It's quite crazy. A slightly less efficient build order. A couple bad trades at the opening. One expansion denied, and it snowballs into 7 minutes. Nexus has 7,600 HP on his commander after killing Petric. And that's map number 2, done in a flash. Nexus is 2-0 up and needs one map to go through in a clean sweep to the finals. Let's move on. Let's see what happens in map number 3. Alright, here we are. Map number 3 is, well, significantly bigger than the previous 2 maps. We've seen we've seen 5x5. A map that's considered 5x5 in its gameplay. Now we're on something completely different. Painted Desert rebalanced. 20x20 land map. One of the only land maps of this scale. And it has 177,444 mass in reclaim. Plus whatever these ones are worth, they're also added on. So we're probably over 200,000 anyway, I would say. These small rocks don't add up into the reclaim on the top for whatever reason. Maybe, well, because they don't have labels, I guess. But yeah, this is an extremely difficult map to play, and these are the two of the players best equipped to deal with it, I'd say. I don't know if I'd pick anyone else to play a map like this ahead of these guys. So this should be a fun one, and should be quite instructional. So both players Cybern again. So we've only seen Seraphim and Cybern in this series. Other series have been more inclusive of different factions. But these guys enjoying their mirror matchups and enjoying Cybern for sure in their 1v1 gameplay. So we can see Nexus spreading out a little bit. Petric keeping it close. Just taking the very closest reclaim, and the rest of his build power is building power, so keeping it real simple. Nexus wants to get a few more mass extractors much more quickly. You only start with one mass extractor, and that can be a very difficult spot that puts you in, as soon as you stop reclaiming, that is it. There's no buffer of a much smaller generated mass. You just have virtually nothing. 2 income per second. Nexus wants the expansion, wants to delay his opening slightly to gain much quicker factories at these mexes that are these satellite mexes around his main base. So you can see a factory gonna go up here, 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 and these factories are going to be providing his economy, not just the mass extractors. They're just really a point of interest. The factory, however, is going to produce the engineers that continue expanding, and maybe more importantly, take all this reclaim here around the mountains. In the bases, we can see 2 air factories already. Second transport also being built by Petric. Very importantly, 3 land factories. Nexus may be slightly behind on factories in the base, but we just went over why that is the case. Yeah, sort of worried by how few factories are queued up here by Petric. But actually, okay, he does actually have this guy quite far forward already, which is good. He's going to get a forward base here. And he's already dropping a lot faster. A lot faster than Nexus is. Nexus only just now finishing his first transport. And not really assisting it too heavily either. Focusing on his core base and the satellite factories here, we'll call them. He's already got 2 up on the bottom, a 3rd one on the way, and 1 towards the top as well. So that's very nice for him. Engineers and Mantis going to start coming out of those. And Petric gone for a totally different approach, basically. With 2 transports on the move already. So potentially a bigger payoff, but more difficult to execute. Maybe more risky by Petric to drop around. There's a chance that you drop somewhere and a Mantis just rolls by exactly at that moment. But yeah, looks like, I guess, Nexus was not sending those very early Mantis. He was more concerned with engineers, which is pretty normal. At this level, people are playing the odds. And the odds say more engineers, more economy. Those improve your odds more than investing in Mantis early. So pretty nice coverage on the top then. After that first transport, the second transport goes to the bottom, and he keeps these more clumped up. Realizes that he needs to get factories up quickly rather than drop around to every mass extractor to get the most generated mass. It's about factories right now. So he drops 2 here so he can get a factory and a PD up quickly. Probably should queue up more factories even. And drops 3 here to build, once again, more factories. Actually building 2 radars by accident. And actually the 3rd guy is going to walk around. So that's a bit surprising. I would have thought more factories would be coming. But if we look at the mass, that is quite a balance. Look at that. Almost no overflow. Okay. The only trick is to make sure he always has reclaim. Then he'll have a good balance. But T2 air is finished. T2 mass or T2 engineer coming out for a P-gen. Nexus meanwhile has gone for T2 land. Not gone for T2 air. He also has multiple mass extractors upgraded already, which I love, and he's upgrading more. Nexus not holding back, not predicting any kind of very painful raids on these mexes. Sees these are pretty safe. He doesn't see any proxy or anything down the side, doesn't see any evidence of one, so he feels like these mexes are safe. Now pauses all the upgrades as he makes the T2P gen. Once he gets through that economic hurdle, he will turn back on the money machine and start printing. T2P jump for Petric, fights through the stall. You can see, even though he's stalling heavily, it didn't slow down the P-gen too much, so he could just get it done quickly, get it out of the way. it's not that bad to stall like that. I mean, it's not ideal either, but there's many worse things that could happen. It happens pretty often. Looks like we will see T2 air and then probably T3 air not too long after, I would say, from that factory that Nexus began. Both players spreading across the map really well. Nexus maybe with less presence in the extremity up here. Very little going on. He's probably building factories everywhere. He is. You can see how he basically builds a factory on almost every mex, because right next to all those mexes are the mountains, and the bottom of those mountains is the real eco that you want. But Nexus really, I like the mass extractor upgrades. They give you a much more stable economic platform instead of purely relying on reclaim. T3 air is the play for Nexus. Looks like he's stuck. Oh no, he changed his mind. In fact, maybe he didn't think he had enough power to just assist that to completion, so he actually cancelled T3 air and is going for some gunships. Gunships for Petric as well. Petric with way too much power at this point. Needs to move to T3 air. I think he will directly after this gunship, right? Because that is a huge amount of overflow. I mean, if he had a couple thousand mass in the bank, I'd say he should make RAS maybe or something. Uh-oh. Don't tell me Mantis are about to win air again. Every time. Also, we get no sounds here. No weapon sounds. Interesting. Gunships on the move. Looking for some kills. They're going to get them. They're all close together, though, and undefended. So this seems like a really bad waste, actually. Gunships also can defend against other gunships. Two renegades shooting at each other. They're not that great at shooting at each other, it seems. Yeah, that was a waste of gunships there. They didn't actually kill anything, really. They almost killed a factory and they killed an engineer. That seems to be about it. If they were more spread out, definitely would be more difficult to deal with. A few mantis moving in, but there's not enough to kill those two factories. A lot of units. Well, looks like Nexus got cleaned up here. In a brawl, Petric needs to get these units moving across the map. There are actually very nice T2 mex kills to get. Nexus with way more eco. He's just ecoing. He's got 12 T2 mexes. Petric with none? Question mark? Not even his core mex is T2. He has 4,200 mass in the bank. He's moving to T3 air, but slowly with very little assistance. Oh, he does have T3 land though. I would love to see him just make a T3 mex in his core base. He has 215 mantis. He takes out a T2 mex here in a raid. There's a T2 mex here, T2 mex here, and here. Oh, another raid. Three mantis. Do we have any gunships in the area? No. None. Nowhere anywhere nearby. T3 air is finished for Nexus, and his P-gen is on the way. He also has T3 land completed. And he has a 50% T3 mex in the back of the base. The engineers... Oh, there's a lot of T2 engineers. They're actually going to manage to get that PD up. There's no doubt with all that build power. And two of the T2 engineers also survive. Right? Ooh, yeah, just about. And the T3 mex survives. We've lost two T2 mexes from Nexus. That's not really all that much considering how many he has and how few, or rather the total lack of any of them for Petric. But still, Petric has more total mass. He's got 5k mass more than Nexus without upgrading any of them. Okay, now we see a few upgrades come online. Big push from Nexus here, but Not big enough. Petric has the units to defend. Actually, we didn't see how many units. Okay, we got 160 Mantis and 6 Loyalists up now. Far more Mantis. Where are all the T3 units? Oh, okay. Here's 1 Loyalist in there. Everything got paused for some reason. Oh, maybe he's just struggling to finish that T3P gen. Speaking of T3P gens, Nexus must have his completed already. He's making ASF now. 4 ASF and a spy plane out. Big push on the bottom side from Petric. He's moving forward. He's running into a Loyalist though on the bottom side. Nice base down here from Nexus. Going to be really annoying. There's actually precariously placed T2 mass extractors here. I'm not sure why this one is upgraded. And annoying raid from Nexus in this position as well. So you can see the viability of T1 deep into this game. I mean, we have T3 land and T3 air on the field right now. No! Oh no. He actually has a chance to drop here if he realizes, but he hasn't realized. Was there a Loyalist on there? No, there wasn't. Okay. So the Loyalist was on a different transport. There definitely was a Loyalist on a transport. But now I don't know where he is. Maybe this is him. Oh yeah, maybe that is him. He's been forgotten about. Still 4,000 mass in the bank for Petric. A lot of T2 mechs on the top side now. And it seems like there's always random gunships moving around, getting a lot of damage in for Nexus. You can see them here working on the raids. The AoE helping them a lot with that. Also on the top side, similar story. Random gunships sent around, and they're really annoying to deal with. Just has attack moves or clicks on some mass extractors. That is a huge number of spy planes. Let's see what Petric sees here from this. And is he making T3 mechs? He is. Many spy planes, gonna cover the entire map now. Huge push coming through the middle. This base at the front presenting serious problems, and Petric is actually going to try and take out some factories with these units, which could be big. Petric seeing the base, seeing a T3 mechs there, seeing support factory, seeing an air grid coming under construction, and he's finding some kills. Also losing some mechs on the way through. You can see a raid that came through here, and it was only Mantis. Meanwhile, Petric's feeling the pressure in multiple locations, and we gotta say, like down here, unfortunately it's mainly Medusa, so they're actually no threat to the Mantis. They can be killed quite easily. I mean, they have killed this position. That was the T2 mechs. God damn. But I mean, the Mantis can deal with the Medusa down here. In the middle though, this is where it's scary. A lot of Loyalists here. You only have 4 Loyalists for Petric, actually 5 now for. At least double that for Nexus. He's got 9 Loyalists and also 30 Mantis in a close group. 2 PDs go up there, going to be very, very helpful. These PDs may make a very big difference. Nice spy plane overhead, giving fantastic vision. Still, the Loyalists live. A lot of reclaim deposited here, but more Loyalists need to be grouped before this army can be killed. PDs have done fantastically well though, it's gotta be said. Why is the ACU shooting? Some units actually got to the base, some Mantis. That's quite interesting. Another T3P gen coming up. A SAM launcher in the base. T3 mechs, which requires some more storages. And maybe this will be T3 at some point in the near future. Nexus retreats from this forward position in middle, leaving a lot of reclaim. However, across the map, on the bottom side, it looks like he's definitely making progress. There's not a huge presence from Petric down here anymore. He's taking a lot of damage, lost a lot of mexes, had to replace them, and yeah, how does he stop this pressure? He needs, well, this factory is going to go a long way towards that, but it's still difficult because there's just constantly a lot of units coming from this direction. This fight in the middle is huge, and the scary thing for Petric is that Nexus wants to take it. There's sometimes when you should trust your opponent, actually, and when they're pushing with intent, you might want to retreat most of the time. Sometimes they'll be utterly wrong and they're suiciding units into you, but a lot of the time you're playing against a decent player. They know they have the advantage, and you should run away from those charging loyalists. 21 loyas and over 200 mantis. 26 loyas, but the mantis production has gone drastically down, and we only have under 60 mantis. Now you can see, look, T1 units and T2 units combining to kill mexes, which may be difficult to rebuild. T1 units just randomly doing a lot of damage, and the front looks very nasty. These loyas just in fantastic formation with good support from the mantis. I mean, the PDs, we need a lot more of them to actually stop this, honestly. This looks very bad for Petric if he loses this factory, all these factories. And he is getting run over here. The PDs are doing insane work. They really should have been killed a long time ago. But yeah, Petric has to retreat with the 3 loyalists he has here. And he's losing this whole base. This factory is not cheap. Half of the loyalists is constructed inside it as well. That goes down for free. Oh, T3 mechs up here. Okay, that's quite nice. Now what does... Oh, Strap Bomber. Just completely... What the hell? It has 12,500 mass killed. It's killed, surely, mass extractors, but it's definitely killed 3 T2 P-gens and the shield, and killed all the reclaim. What else has it killed? It's probably dropped some bombs on loyalists as well. But that thing did huge damage. Unfortunately, simple T1 units, Medusa and Mantis, just running through like this base here is worth its weight in gold. The whole bottom side here in this bottom left corner is destroyed, and most of the T3 units were pushed directly through the middle of the map and have taken this fantastic fight here, leaving tons of reclaim, killing a base. Strats are coming after these loyalists and absolutely murking them. A Strap Bomber can kill loyalists in one bomb. Oh, it got another one off. Oh, went for this guy. Okay, gets another Loya. T1 Bomber's also coming out. Oh yeah, T1 Bomber's not going to do so well. They're going to do amazing things once you shift G or T1 units. Let's take a look at this, shall we? And they're gone. Gunship also doing fantastic work there. The Strap Bomber also survived that, it's got to be said. Topside is under pressure for Nexus, but not under the same pressure as the bottom left corner. Now look, there's nothing stopping these T1 units. No, somebody stop them, please. But Petric doing really well economically on the top side. He's got that T3 mechs here. He has a lot of storages on the top side as well. So he is still in a good position. And he has done significant damage on the top side. Also pushing back here as well. Just off center. Some dead T2 mechs here for sure. Oh, Commander gets strap bombed. The Commander looks like he was the only thing strap bombed, except for a loyalist and maybe some engineers. Another ground fire. He's not hitting the. He's not hitting anything though with that one. Actually, he hit Nexus Commander again, I think. But he's not hitting P-Gens, he's not hitting the HQ. So I think he really misjudged. That T3 P-Gen could have gone down there. Oh no! The ASF got drawn in as well. This group of ASF was not supposed to be here. And... oh no, this could be very bad. He only has 25 ASF. I'm sure Nexus has more than that. He does way more. He's 42. Nexus also sending ASF backwards to make sure that there's no other random T3 bombers coming through to start bombing all of stuff. These all could have been dead, honestly. All these P-Gens could have been dead by that bomber. But it did not happen. Now we have a major engagement. Nexus sending huge portion, probably more than half of his army. Well, yeah, around half his army is right here in loyalists, putting pressure directly in the main base, which seems very ballsy. But he does have air control, and look at how many kills he's getting on these gunships. He's just melting gunships for free, getting some shots away in the ASF. Knows he needs to stay away to some degree because of potential for a lot of SAMs in the base or mobile anti-air coming out. Here we go, there's a SAM, there's mobile anti-air. But this loyalist army is so difficult to stop, and this commander should not be moving towards that army. He would die in the blink of an eye if he chose to fight that. There goes an ASF for free. The gunships are going to do a little they can before they get vaporized. But this looks very difficult for Petric to stop. Okay, a lot of loyalists coming in. He needs to... yeah, this is bad micro. Nexus, you can see, always getting better trades here. But that's a good stun. The ACU is here. The ACU is going to be under attack immediately. And he's down so low already. There's no stuns. And Nexus just snipes the commander with Loyas. The commander had no gun. No upgrades whatsoever. And just got focused down immediately by the Loyas. Far too many of them for an ACU with no upgrades to face and no real veterancy. I mean, okay, there's a random T3 gunship killing T3 support factories. Interesting. But you can see, though, if we look elsewhere, Petric with significantly more total mass. But if we look at the way the map looks, yeah, I mean, look at the damage Petric had done. Top side is dead totally. I mean, that's a T3 mechs. That would probably survive. 2 mantis, gotta say. Actually, I don't think they do enough damage to... or no, they do enough damage to get past the regen. But yeah, Petric doing so well here in terms of just denying so many mexes on Petric's side, on Nexus side. Petric also looking very damaged. Missing a lot of mass extractors. But this game could have gone quite a bit longer, I'd say. That was a very ballsy move by Nexus, basically taking advantage of his air control, saying that, well, if I have air control, I can put my loyalists wherever I want, basically. If I see too many units, I just can leave. He can get a lot of raiding done. But he goes straight for the base and puts a lot of pressure there. A lot of loyalists return to try and defend. And then the ACU just steps out slightly ahead of the units. Gets focused down by maybe a dozen loyals, and he's dead in seconds. Even with one big overcharge into 3 or 4 loyals, that did not make the difference. And Nexus takes the win, and that's a really huge result for Nexus. 3-0 against Petric. Definitely these two guys probably be in the top 3 picks to win the tournament beforehand, maybe the top 2 picks beforehand. And pretty interesting to see Petric get dropped in just 3 maps. Pretty impressive by Nexus to achieve that. And yeah, what more is there to say? We're gonna have a second semi-final, and there will be more maps in that one if I remember correctly. But yeah, this was a good series, and long may it continue. I will see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Check out the links, and see you next time. Have a good one.